way that goes. Like, you need to brush your teeth before you go to bed. You need to, wash your hands after you use the toilet. I mean, these are very, very, there's really not a lot of negotiation that goes on. But what mentoring and advising is hopefully, like I said, between 0 and up to age 13, you have done all of that training in the spiritual realm, in the emotional realm, in the, mental, physical. You've trained them that they need exercise, that they need to take care of their bodies, that they need to sleep. You have taught them all these things at a point when they are still very much open to listening to you. Okay? That's the biggest difference too. Because once they get to a certain age, not that you're not still talking to them, but they are going to very much develop their own opinions. I mean, you listen to parents who have adolescents. Oh, they don't listen to me. Oh, they shut down. Oh, they just blow me off. I mean, it's just constant. And so at that point, it's because you have to start taking into consideration what their feelings are, what their emotions, what they're communicating to you. They might say, I don't want to go to grandma's house. Okay, she always is mean to me. She does these things. Now they're fighting back. Okay, now they have an opinion and they will just dig their heels. I had one girl that she just did not want to go on a trip with her family. There was a lot going on and her parents ended up forcing her to go. She was 17. Her parents ended up forcing her to go with a lot of guilt and all of that kind of stuff. And in the end, it just blew up. I mean, they just had a huge fight. It was so much drama. It was a huge relationship fracture. And that is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like with a 17-year-old, you can't make them do anything. You don't want to make them do anything. You need to convince them if you really want something. There might be some things that you lay down where as a family, we're going to do this on Christmas or something like that. But there comes a point where you can ask, you can negotiate, but you cannot force them. And at that point, because you don't want to be bossy. You don't want to be known as this nagging parent. You're just going to shut them down even more and separate them from you. So what happens is you become much more like an advisor. I understand that grandma is so mean to you and that you don't want to see her anymore. I mean, I get that. So is there anything I can do to make it easier for you? Because what do you want your relationship with grandma to look like? Do you want to cut her out of your life? Do you want to hold her at a distance? This is more like advising and mentoring. You may guide them. Well, okay, I see she's mean, so you're willing to go for 30 minutes, but then you want to go home. Okay. Or you go for an hour and then I drop you off at the mall. Whatever it may be, that's what it begins to look like. And that's how you are going to be able to raise teenagers. If you try to force anything on them, I guarantee you're just going to get into a fight. Yes, a lot of it is the way that you parents deliver the message to them. I mean, that is the absolute truth. It's always about being calm. It's always about keeping control, not freaking out. Is it hard? Yeah, it's really hard. But at the same time, you don't really have any choice. That's the one thing when I realized when my sons got bigger, not as much as with my daughter, but with my boys, because I watched a lot of mothers with teenagers. So when my boys were around 8 or 9, I watched a lot of moms with teenagers and I saw so much conflict. And I just was like, I do not want that. These kids were huge. I mean, some of these boys were, if the mom was 5'2", 5'3", 5'5", and then the son was 6 feet or taller and maybe 200 pounds, the relationship dynamic changes. I'm not saying that they should not respect their mother. That's not what I'm saying at all. But there's a sense of power. There's just a physical presence that happens. And as a mother, if you are not aware of that and begin to prepare for it and begin to watch yourself, you're just going to lose all respect and control of your kids. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. You see it all the time. They just blow you off. They're like, whatever. You just become like another pest that's just nagging in their ear. And that's the kind of thing that I am trying to help parents prevent. As I continue to work with kids, it just drives home so much more just the generational and the cultural differences between parents and their children. It's just so sad. And although the Bible tells us that there is nothing new under the sun, that is true. But what the Bible is talking about, I believe, is more about human nature and the wickedness of our souls kind of thing, because there is a lot that's new. I mean, never in all of history has the world been disconnected. Sometimes when I think so much about our teens and what they're going through and what they're experiencing, it's overwhelming for me to even fully process it. And so when I think about that, then as parents, we have to realize that there's a lot that we may not know about our kids, and to move forward with caution and to be careful and to preserve that relationship as much as we can, because we don't know what they're going through. So that's it. Any questions?